Hey everybody, and welcome to another Flippin Pages. Flippin Pages is where we flip through magazines, books, and stuff like that, printed matter. In this episode, we're going to have a look at Wargames Illustrated issue 462. This is the June 2026. And in this issue, you get, let me just show you very quick, a free rule book or rule sheet or rule flyer. Is that a booklet? How about that? Booklet. And you also get a gladiator frame to play this game, which I think is really, really great. It's always nice when you get a rule book with Wargames Illustrated. And Wargames Illustrated have from time to time released given free rule books and miniatures. And this month is the Blood on the Sands, the gladiator game. So let's look inside very, very quick. First off, we've got a table of contents. Right, and then this is basically what the contents of the frame would look like. And then we have the subscription. Very quickly, during this point, I want to say that Wargames Illustrated does not pay me anything to do this review. Neither do I get any privileges from doing flip throughs like this. This is strictly out of my own pocket. But if you do get the subscription, you can go for the WI Prime, where you get the frame or the cover without all of this like fuss around it. So yeah, consider that. Next up, we have Quickfire, and Quickfire is basically, and now I liked this Quickfire in particular, because this is basically, they're calling this one the Victory at Northbridge, and this is a game that was or campaign that was run over 12 months, and all the high points and even some tips are in this part of the article. So if you are interested to do a long campaign, have a look at this, just as maybe not as a guide, but as inspiration for your campaign. Moving along, we have the frame focus, and like I said, it's this frame right here that they're focusing on. And over here we have Peachy tips, showing you how he painted the frame. Also a choice of alternate colors, and also the WI painter, Matt Parks, shows you his color scheme for the gladiators. Very nice. All useful tips. If you're not into video and you want this in front of you as you paint, right? Consider this as one of the articles when you paint your miniatures. Moving along, we got an ad from Warlord Games, and this is Pike and Shot, Death and the Lancesnacks. How I pronounce that right? And these are the plastic kits, the full starter army kits and stuff like that. And then we got the release radar. Now on release radar, we start off with Gazpacho tabletop, and now you can actually get this rule book from Drive Through RPG. It's basically a World War II D-Day paratroopers behind the Atlantic Wall. What is it? It's a solo skirmish war game, so it's like a narrative campaign. But it does support cooperative and versus modes, right? And then we have Ammo by MIG or MIG, how to paint German Panzer Grey. And again, if you're like the Gladiator article, if you're into reading the sequence on how to paint instead of just watching the video, consider getting this magazine from Ammo by MIG. And then we have 12 mm scale Fokker Wolf by Ancillus Wargames. Moving along, we have the Tabletop Workshop, and this is basically what they've done is they've upscaled the 172 scale vehicles from their line to 176 scale to 172 scale, and this includes the Humber and the M10 tank destroyer. And then we have First Corps, one of the game companies which I definitely keep an eye on, and in this one it's Operation Eagle, and you can actually get the Winston Churchill character in here as a miniature, which is very, very cool. Moving along, we have Great Escape Games with the 1914 Plan 19, and then we had Ad Gloriam et Ultra, and this is by, let me see, it's by Space Vixens from Mars. Okay, Space Vixens from Mars is a place where you can get this rulebook. Hope I got that right. Then we got Wargames Widow Diane Sutherland. It says here Wargames Widow. I suppose this is the people. These are the wives of the wargamers, I guess. And this is from Caliber Books. It's basically building terrain and stuff like that. And then we got war bases with their 00 gauge buildings. Now, if you're into trains, right? So I know some of my friends who are. You could actually consider, getting this buildings for your train. Maybe period train set, which I think is a really cool idea. And also it's good for terrain. And then we have antediluvian miniatures with their 28 millimeter War of the Bruises, which is, and it's very nice because they've actually labeled this, which I always think is excellent. And then in terms of 3D print, we have MC miniatures with their French light infantry. All right, so that's the release radar. Moving along, we have North Star with their muskets and tomahawks, all their books, and then cappies and bayonets. This is basically North Star's what North Star is looking at right now and pushing, which I think is a great idea. Yeah, I haven't looked through the books just yet. Maybe soonish I might do a flip through. Moving along, we have Victrix, Scots and Picts. This is new from Victrix, 2 new Dark Age sets. Yeah, and then we have Business of Blood in the Heart of Mosul, and this is basically a scenario for Assassins and Templars by a Rockers Assassin and Templars, a Ruckus game. Now this, if you did not know and you were new and this is one of the first few flip throughs you're watching, this rulebook was actually given free, which is kind of great because there's a free rulebook in this issue, right? But this one came out, I think, in November 2025. And it's a micro skirmish game, right? And this is a scenario for it, so which I think is kind of great because if you have the rule book, you can now use this scenario to play the game, right? Play your scenarios. And then we got the cultural experience. This is basically tours, the Ultimate Zulu War Tour. And then we got Flames of War. Look at that, trains, man. World War II armored trains, which I thought was a really good idea. Now, this is the part of the magazine I was really excited about flipping through, because while it's great to see all of these tables on video, right, on YouTube, where they, roving cameraman's going and trying to catch as much as you can, on an article like this, you get to see the different parts of the table, right, up close, right? And over here we have one Warwick Kinraid. Oh dear God, I hope I said it right. And his table won Best Historical War Game. This one's over here. As you can see, it's got all this little detail, which, unless you were there, you probably miss. So it's nice that there are lots of pictures of the tables. And then you got Milton 100 War Games Club, Sword Beach, The Longest Day. And that one, Best Medium Scale Game. And then Best Fantasy Sci-Fi Game was won by the MacRather Builder of Worlds, the Ark World and Burrows and Badgers game, which actually, if you look closely, if I may, it's basically a terrain board. It's some really beautiful ideas and really huge terrain. And then you got the Cornwall War Games Association, the Battle of Lizard Point, that won Best Presented Game. And then Maidstone War Games Club, The Labyrinth of Mars as the most innovative game. And then we have all the other winners: Best Small Scale Game, Best Scenery, Best Participation Game. And then Joe Bilton's Battle of Montcornet, May 1940. Again, look at all this nice pictures, right? I mean, just close up, really nice pictures. And if you were there and you were in this picture, it's definitely a keepsake, right? This magazine. And there's more pictures here. And then you got the Bunny Badger games with that table, right? And then you have even more Best Large Scale Game right here, which I think is one way to really show and showcase the games or the tables that were at the event. And for me, these are the ones that you tend to keep as record or as inspiration. I mean, 10 years from now, these tables do not go out of style, right? So there, salute. Next up, First Corps, and this time it's the Home Guard. Very nice looking figures, and they got Rubicon models, focusing on the Sherman this time around. Next up, we have Murder for Hire, and this one is a campaign game for, if I'm not mistaken, Western. It's a Western campaign game. And look at all the terrain, the effects and stuff. Right? It's very, very nice. I think you can use any of the war games rules, right? For this game, which I think is really, really fantastic. I like articles like that where you can actually use different games to just play the game, and here you have the scenario. Moving along, we have Oathmark second edition. That's coming on. This coming on August. Very excited about this as well. And then the best medium scale game, as you saw in the earlier part of the article, where they were showcasing the different Salute games, and this is recreating Sword Beach. For those folks who want to do huge games with nice bits of terrain, this kind of article is, you know, priceless, because it shows you the behind the scene, how they got from just, you know, stuff like that, just very, very bare, and building it up, and, you know, all the different details and the materials they use. You know, very, very nice. Definitely not the kind of thing you leave in your house, but maybe for, you know, a games day that you probably want to have, or a demo game you probably want to have. But very nice article, very, very nice article, well researched too. Next up, we have Heinz figures, right? And then we have Dystopian Wars, you know, by War Cradle. Moving along, we got Spilling Blood for the Queen and Coin for the Cardinal, and this is the En Garde, right? The rulebook from Osprey Games, right? And the theme actually for the book, for this magazine, is blood related, so everything has blood in the title, which I think is it's kind of cool. It's a good idea. Anyways, moving along, we have in memoriam for George Gush, whom I do not know personally, but just reading this article, you can see the, you know, contribution he's done for the hobby. So rest in peace, George. You know, surely you roll high in the table, you know, up there, you know, somewhere. Anyways, moving along, we have Halayan Co., we have Art Master Studio, Skytrax, you know, and North Star all paying the bills, and Athena, Knuckle Duster, let me see now, Midland Miniatures, Fire Drake Forge, all the small ones. Let me see, there's a painting service right here. They got Mardav, and then an advert for Phalanx 2026. And then we have Tumbling Dice, Wings at War, and then Dixon Miniatures with they're showcasing the westerns and some World War II. And then we have Arrowhead Miniatures, then advert for BritCon in August. Now, free in the next issue is the Totenkopf. And these are the zombies for Conflict 47. And then, as you can see over here, you know, new legendary miniatures are coming from Wargames Atlantic for their Sharps Rifle series. And at the back, as always, it's Gripping Beast, and this time it's Lurkio, Three Kingdom Chinese 15mm metal figures. Alright, so that is the flip through of Wargames Illustrated, issue 462. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just flip through very quickly the Bled on the Sands rulebook, so you can actually see what's inside. Now, I'm not going to be reviewing the rules, but what I am going to be doing is just showing you the layout and how it looks. The actual game actually was on, I think it was on Kickstarter, and this is basically the basic rules. It's just the quick start rules, playing one-on-one, I think, if I'm not mistaken, with only 2 miniatures. The extended rules you can play with more, and this rule set is done by Frank Sultana and N.R. Jensen Jones, right? And as you can see, it's a nice layout. They've got the introduction, and then they've got this avatar right here, which I thought was kind of nice to help you through the game, and then how to play the different miniatures inside the game that you get with the set, and the different miniatures that you can probably get from Wargames Atlantic, because apparently they've done this with Wargames Atlantic, the miniatures, in fact. So I thought that was really, really cool. These are different dice. They give you the action dice in the actual game, but in this one you can actually use these dice to represent the different actions that you can do. And then you got the gladiator play sheet, setting up the game, the different tokens for different states of your gladiator, and then you're introduced to 2 gladiators that in this quick start scenario demo game that you can play, right? And then it's playing the game. Like I said, I'm not going to flip through the rules or break down the rules for you, because, you know, go and support the magazine, go and support the rules writer, and get this either as a full rule set or as a free, you know, quick play from Wargames Illustrated. So it's very, very simple. It looks like it's very dice it's based on dice, action dice, and and then you got, it's broken down where even the different locations, where you hurt the person. It's very micro skirmish, which I think is kind of cool. So there you have it. Very, very simple, very, very quick rules. And then you also get, let me just very quickly, you also get the frame. I will be featuring this frame in another video. So let me bring them all out again. So that was the flip through of Wargames Illustrated 462, where you get the free Blood on the Sands gladiatorial combat rules and the free frame. Totally value for money. I'll be surprised if you can find a full set of these now, because I heard they were sold out almost everywhere. So that's pretty much it. Hope you enjoyed the flip through. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and as always, don't forget to enjoy painting those figures.